I don't believe there was human-created technology that anything nears what we have today, for instance, like solar-powered or energy-powered. I actually would believe that aliens came down, did it, and then came up over those theories, because you can't confirm, prove, or deny an alien's coming.
Well, we can't really confirm, prove, or deny any of it right now, to be honest. All we can say is, there it is. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another discussion here at Three Shades of Whatever. So, we told you we'd be back with all information that comes out about this whole big deal at the pyramids with the SAR scan and the shafts underneath and the tubes and the spirals and such. Well, I saw this video yesterday. Haven't showed it to Greg yet. He's about to be a part of it. And I like this chick. Don't know how credible everything she says is, but I do know that she talked to the original guy who put out the abstracts that we saw originally of the tubes underneath the pyramid. So she's got some new information out. Let's see what she has to say.
Real quick, I just want to add to that.
Okay.
I haven't watched this video yet. The only thing with her, and because I know her, is when I look at all her small clips, she does make, and some of it's backed up by evidence, but she does make a lot of sensational claims. And
yes, I agree.
In my opinion, when people tend to believe in like more conspiracies than not, they get into that pattern of thinking. Like they want to believe every piece of new information. That doesn't mean the new information is right or wrong. I deal with everything as it comes. The data that's presented on a certain topic, I look at it, I analyze it and see what I think about it. I don't try to believe in every single conspiracy I think, or not conspiracy, or every single thing you hear. For instance, the moon landing being fake, or the World Trade Center, whatever. You know, all the conspiracy, however you want to look at it. I look at everything individually.
Talk about them all.
Her channel, I did look, and there's a lot of different claims, and so I just want to throw that out there.
I agree.
I
agree with that.
I am going to deal with this video individually. I'm not saying, but just know, you always got to start in the center and build out from there. That's how I do it. So that's just my little take.
There's nothing wrong with that.
All
but right. The only thing I'm going to say against that with this video in particular is she has photographic evidence here, like that look like the other stuff. That's all I'm going to say. So let's get it going.
Right, lads, I've got an update on the SAR Pyramid Giza scanning project. Last week, I got to interview Trevor Grassi, he's a YouTuber, and he was the one that first posted the abstract of the Italian conference. If you're following the story, you know what that is. I got to interview him on my YouTube for about 45 minutes. Interestingly, when we were talking about all the scans and how we could verify the scans and what the work that we'd need to do next, Trevor suggested that the best way to do that would be for them to scan an already established archaeological site, like the Osiris shaft on the Giza plateau. And if they could show that the scans could accurately map the Osiris shaft, then that's like an indication that they could accurately map other things too. Well, apparently that's happened. And I'm going to show you. So according to an announcement from the original team who scanned the Khafre pyramid, they said they have scanned the Giza plateau with the Osiris shaft, and they can show not only the accurate levels of the Osiris shaft, but also the fact that it continues down even further, and there appears to be other levels and other things going on at deeper levels to the Osiris shaft. So that's a big claim. It's a big claim. But they also said that what they're in the process of doing right now is handing over the data and the software to an independent team so that they can verify all of these massive claims. So that's going to be really interesting, because if a completely independent team can replicate their results, then we're starting to get to science. Very exciting. Just quickly, if you didn't know what the Osiris shaft is, it is a well-documented, really deep 3-level underground structure that is found just off the...
I'm not going to play all that. We don't need all that.
So yeah, my immediate reaction to that video, nothing she said is wrong. I think she presented...
No, I agree. She was like, this is a big claim. She didn't come out and say it's true, all that shit. So I can get behind this one. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wanted to do this, because it does seem like it seems a little valid. I mean, see, for me, look, again, I'm going with the assumption that what we're seeing is fact. Okay. Which I kind of do believe it is, but I have reasons for that, which is what I'm going to get into right now. If they did really scan the Osiris shaft and mapped it right, what's to say that everything else they're scanning is wrong?
Well,
that's the biggest thing that just spins in my brain.
I'll steel man it for you. So
go ahead.
You could say, and again, so my position is, overall, before I steel man that argument, is that this absolutely could be balls on accurate. It also could be not balls on accurate. It depends on what depths and where the accuracy begins to maybe fade or not fade, right? So we don't know.
But I have issues with that. But go ahead.
Again, until it's completely verified, I personally think we have something with this. So that's my official position.
Are you sure?
But to steel man the argument is that we're going to have to look. We're going to have to look at depths in multiple sites and also get other people, like she said, which is exactly what we need to do, is to get other scientists besides these two Italian scientists to also do these same things. I think once this technology is handed off and done over and over again, and here's the thing, I don't come here with all the data we have with other SAR technology. I don't even know what's been done. I don't know the full excavation of the Giza sites. I don't know. I don't have all that information with me right now, but I'm just saying from a generalized scientific standpoint, I feel like this is made the correct first step. The next step is to now to go to independent researchers and build on what has been found. For instance, in peer-reviewed scientific journals and scientific study, what they do is when they have a peer review what you're doing, they look at what you did and they try to see the weaknesses and strengths of it and to build on the strengths and to fix the weaknesses. That's usually how it goes. So, basically, so the only thing I could say about this is they're going to have, they're going to have to go to sites where known deeper depths than even what the shaft is and continue to verify it. I mean, personally, I would like to just excavate and see what the hell's down there and compare it to this stuff. But there's a whole lot of issues with that I don't know. I can't present all that, why they wouldn't.
To a point there is, like I said, they could always just drill a hole and fly a drone in it. Like, let's be real. We have technology nowadays that we can do things with that I don't understand why we haven't done it yet. Are we being held up by the Egyptian government? Is it people just not doing it for some apparent friggin' reason? Is there a reason they don't want to do it? You know what I mean? There's all these questions that get involved in it. But my problem with the accuracy argument is where, like, here, I'm going to put it bluntly. So I'm not saying you, but for the people saying that. So you're telling me that it's perfect all the way down to the Osiris shaft, and then everything after that, it's hearsay. That sounds like bullshit. That's not what I'm looking at it.
That is not what's being said. So
no, but that's what you're saying about depths. You don't know what depth is accurate. But I mean, if it mapped the friggin' Osiris shaft right, why is all the other measurements wrong?
So how deep is the Osiris shaft? Like how deep do we know? Like, for instance, we have the Osiris shaft. It goes down a certain level of feet. Do you know how many?
I know at least 3 stories in those ways. I don't know how deep each. It's probably more than what 3 stories would be to us, which is only like 36 feet.
So then I'll ask the question: if we have something underground that we know physically verified that we saw that's 75 feet, and it's accurately depicted on SAR radar, does that mean it's automatically accurate 600 meters in the ground?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, even with this one, like, because that was originally what they said. They said, well, you have to go map something out there that's underground and see if it works. And boom, he did it, and they did it, and they said, oh, look, we found extra shit down there. Oh, well, we can't verify that either. It just sounds like they just want to keep refuting it. Like, that head Egyptologist, I can never, Hawani? I can't remember his friggin' name, but that guy came right out and said, it's all BS. Well, why? Because you don't want it to be real?
Oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
Yeah,
just look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah, well.
What the heck is that?
it goes with your theory of, like you were talking about that girl, when you want something to be real. I also think it goes with the same thing. They don't want it to be real. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Because then it refutes what they've been saying forever. So it makes them look like they didn't know shit about what they were saying, which in my opinion, it doesn't do that at all. It just, you were only going by the knowledge that you had at the time, which is fine. You know what I mean? But you got, okay, so I was right. No, I was wrong. Osiris shaft is about 30 meters, so about 100 feet deep.
And that's fine. If it accurately depicts something 100 feet deep.
Just look at it.
And then also an independent team does the same type of scans. You got to understand, this is, again, this has nothing to do with...
What if we go back to the pyramids? Real quick. What if we go back to the pyramids and scan those tubes and they're 100 feet deep at least? Is that still bullshit then?
No, so that's the point. So, again, there's a couple things happening here. One, you have two people doing this research, right? And they did these scans and you see the images that they present, which is totally fine. Now, the reason why you have to get other researchers to do the same thing is you have to verify the results. Not just the depths of the results, but the actual scans. Because you could get other researchers take the scan pictures and then they get something completely different. It's just like let's just say like a world leader who's a dictator. It's like, I say this is what happens, therefore it is. That doesn't mean that's what these people are doing. That's not what these people are doing. The whole point is just that if there's one person that discovers things, it doesn't mean we automatically have to believe it. I could look at this. No, I agree with you. I could look at this and see that there's something. So again, if we verify something that's 70 feet deep, we have independent researchers, everything's all verified, and it's like, boom, we know 70 feet down, irrefutably, this is an accurate, this is accurate.
So that's what
science.
I'm saying. Why don't they just scan the friggin' pyramid again and see if those tubes are right there down to 70 feet? Then they can say, oh, they're definitely further.
Yeah, it could do that.
I would have to say
would refute. Okay. They would have to do something. They have to look in. This is a process, right? They have to look into it.
Yeah, but no, you're not understanding what I'm saying. If they've already accurately, because the Osiris shaft went 100 feet down and saw it to be accurate, what if they just go back to the pyramid of 𝐑𝐂𝐓𝐈𝐎𝐍𝐒 and scan it again, and then they can, or even still, the scan that they already have in the beginning at 100-foot depth is definitely accurate. So why are those columns not something that's tangible to these?
Sure, no, I don't disagree with it. If we have irrefutable evidence that up to 70 to 100 feet it's accurate, then most likely
we have it.
Right, we have a piece of it. So it's in the right direction, right? It's not irrefutable.
I'm with you.
So again, once this science gets built on, and and I hope it does, the questions will become clearer and clearer and clearer. What I don't like, what I see is, what I do see is, again, and people could be right. This doesn't mean everybody's wrong, right? So,
no, I get you.
When the scans first came out, and then the images were created, the tubes with the spirals and all that other stuff, everybody went online and started saying like, oh, the pyramid's a power plant. Oh, we're changing.
Yeah, but that's not where I'm going. We're
changing the course. Kind of shit. Well, no, that's
you don't even know what it really is under there. To even say what the function is ridiculous. Like, I get that some things coincide with theories, but that's all they still are until we take eyes on it. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's the issue. I have
no issue with that.
That's the issue with having one set of data. There is no scientific, discoveries or things where we just went with one set of data. Oh, just this one group of people. I agree.
So I do want to say this though, real fast. I would agree more with that argument if they were the ones who owned and designed that satellite that they were using, but they're not. They, sourced it out. It's not their satellite that they did this with. This is a satellite that has capability of SAR scan. So it's not like they made this and said, okay, we shot this and we're proving our technology right. They're not doing that. They're just scanning with somebody else's shit and saying, look what we found.
Sure. I mean, that's an added layer. But regardless, it needs to be done. More needs to be done. And
I agree. But again, they've done more and they are doing more, and I want to see it keep going. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Because I do believe it to be something. I think it is more accurate than people want to admit to, which is fine. Let the reviews come out. Let's all the different scientific ways of proving it come out. But in my opinion, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at things that they've mapped the Osiris shaft right. What makes me think in my, I'm not an archaeologist or anybody that can do that kind of shit, but the way I see it is, it looks to me like it's something.
Yeah, regardless of what people say, there's some scientists that say they think it's BS. There's some scientists that say
Flint Dibble?
I would love this kind of stuff to be true, but it is total bullshit.
The standpoint from a scientific perspective, and any scientist is going to say this, and again, I do have a background in science. I'm not a researcher. There is a process. Just because I think this is potentially really good technology, and I do think this has a good probability of being accurate. I just want to see more. I'm not going to say, based on this one team of researchers, that boom, we found something. I think we're on the cusp of finding something. There's a difference.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen eventually is it's going to come out that these were the first people to find it.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what we're
yeah.
gonna refer to them
but
eventually.
time
because
will tell.
like you said though, I do want other people to do it, but no one else ever has. That's the thing. It's like there's always going to be a first. You know what I mean? And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, and I'm not coming equipped with all of the excavation that's done at the Giza pyramids and all of the radar scans. I don't have that information. I'm going off the top here. So I can only stick to
what we see.
I can only stick to what I think the scientific process is and why the scientific process exists. Because again, think of it logically. If one researcher team finds stuff and you take that as fact, if you can't see the logical issue in that, then you fail to see why the scientific process exists. Now,
I agree with you.
You could take something and make your probability and say, there's certain discoveries that I could subjectively say probability of this is high, probability of this is low. I think the probability.
I feel like this is high to me.
I feel like this is nearing the high. This is a high probability of accuracy with these SAR scans. Now, from a scientific perspective, I will say this. This is just logic, right? This is the reason why you got to study depths that are further, because 600 meters, like the original Khafre pyramid, whatever, 400 to 600
648,
meters,
yeah.
That is insane depths. So from a scientific perspective,
2,100 feet.
I want to verify that as much as possible. So again, the deeper it goes, the more questions I have. That doesn't mean I don't think it's real. It's just like, boom, let's do this. Now, from a human and a meaning to life perspective, a lot of people go, and I don't think this is totally wrong. I think making a statement saying this changes the course of human history as we know it, I really just don't believe that totally until it's like, well, even if we verify the scans, right? Say we verify the scans, there's something to that depth. Well, to me, what did we find?
It changes what we knew. It changes what everybody said that humans were capable of doing at that time. It absolutely does. There's no way of refuting that. It changes the capabilities that humans had at that time.
Okay, that statement is not incorrect. I just don't think it changes the course of human history. All I think it changes is we found something.
Well, it shows that we had technology that we didn't know about. That's what it changes. It really does, dude. I mean, it's clear that if they were able to do this, I mean, I don't know if anybody understands how far 648 meters down really is. Do you know what I'm saying? That's a long friggin' way. It's a Empire State and a half building. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how far down they went with giant cylinders. Giant. These things are not teensy. You know what I'm saying? They're not like, oh, we drilled a hole this big. No. They're the size of my house. Do you know what I mean? So, like, to just say this is a technology that we could have figured, they could have. Yeah, it's not feasible to me. Like, this is too big of a scale to go that far down. And then again, if the scans are right, there's 2 80-meter boxes down there that these pillars are sitting on. That it does change 100% what we knew that humans were capable of.
So that's not changing.
Even as humans.
That's not changing the course of human history, though. So, for instance, some people say
it does a bit. It doesn't change it. It adds to it.
So some people make that statement assuming that this has some function that we don't. That's like, okay, it's a power plant. Like there's an ancient civilization that's
until we know that, whatever.
So to say, yeah, it changes what we know about the capabilities. We really already don't know about the pyramids themselves. Are a wonder of the world. We still don't fully know.
That's a fair enough argument.
Not everybody agrees.
That's a fair enough argument. I get what you're saying. I see what you mean.
If you take a 50,000, 100,000, 20,000, I don't know how many people worked on these pyramids for how many years. If you take all these people digging down in the ground, if it's just, hear me out, if it's just basically a physical feat, meaning there's no like necessarily advanced technology involved, it's lost technology, But if it's just a wonder of physical features, like it's just basically more shit. It goes that they dug this deep. Holy shit! To me, it's like, well, yeah, we didn't know they could
but
do
how,
that,
dude? On the scale is like.
So then the question
immense,
of
dude.
how, that question could go on for hundreds of years. How? Well, if you throw enough people at it and you dig deep enough, that's how. That's one reason how. I'm not saying that is how, but if you got 50,000 people or 20,000 people at a time digging holes into the ground and somehow they get that,
it's not what you think, though.
Somehow, well,
it's not that simple.
So right, but so are we saying that they had like, big giant electrical drills that what's
I think they had some sort of powered machinery in some sort of way to do these things. Dude,
I absolutely do not think that. I mean, I think it's possible.
Then we're going to have to agree to disagree because, I mean, there's no fucking way that they could have done this that deep without some sort of technology, dude. You're not doing it with chisels and fucking diorite.
So you're saying the claim is Egyptians had like electricity?
I can't say that. I'm saying it could be steam powered. It could be solar powered. Something to do what they did on this scale.
So you think the Egyptians had solar powered energy?
I know. I'm saying something I don't know.
Well, you just said that.
I keep saying that to you. I don't know. I said it could be. I said it could be electricity. It could be solar power. It could be steam or water power. Who the fuck knows? None of us know. And if they're doing feats this big, nobody has a theory. So to say that anything is outlandish is small-minded. It could be anything. There's no way that any of us fucking know. It could be fucking aliens for all we know. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying for all we know, who the hell knows?
I don't disagree with your premise. You have to be open-minded to think anything's possible. So I agree with the premise. But there's tons of evidence surrounding there's
no evidence surrounding this.
I understand that. There's no evidence that besides circumstantial evidence, when they talk about what's in the granite, that could be electrically charged and all that stuff. Besides circumstantial evidence, all of the evidence surrounding that time frame or whatever it was built, there's no evidence of any powered anything. So again, this would have to be an isolated thing. Is it possible? Yes, but I put it on the scale of probability. I put it down low. Nothing's impossible.
I'm just saying there's something I don't know. The scale. I wish I could just somehow show you. Like if you really look at the pyramid, how big it is, right?
I understand the scale.
No. I'm talking about one of those cylinders, how big it is. The feet to do 2,100 feet into the ground is ridiculous. And they did 8. And they also got those giant boxes down there.
I totally get that it's a crazy physical feat that we don't understand.
That's
how
what I'm saying.
Did.
So the fact that anybody can say that this most likely was done by humans with chisels, that sounds ridiculous to me.
The thing I'm going to say overall is I think that people think ancient people were stupid. I don't think they were. So
I don't think they were.
Everybody talks about like, oh, they were primitive, they were this, they were that. Yes, we don't know the expansion of their knowledge and what they could have done with what they did, which could have, again, it could be a lost technology. It could be the fact that they had a shit ton of people working on things at once. Who knows? I think it's all possible
scenario. I just unlikely.
But until I see like irrefutable evidence that there's some sort of like, technology that only like we would be like exposed to when it comes to like, electricity or steam power or solar power, all that stuff is, to me, that goes on the extreme low. Now, when you make the alien,
you're taking it the wrong way.
When you make the alien argument, the alien argument can't be it'll never be proven and it'll never be disproven. So I could say anything's an alien. Right?
I agree.
In fact,
I'm just giving everything.
In fact,
I'll
say this. I would believe more of the probability of alien civilization coming down and helping and then disappearing without a trace, because there's certain claims that just don't have evidence, like saying the Egyptians or whatever people claim to have built this just had these like giant power tools that like massive megalithic power tools.
No, you're missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying power tools. Like when I say they were advanced, I'm not saying like they were putting satellites in the sky and walking around with iPhones. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they were advanced in a way that we don't understand. And that's a fact. That's obvious because we still don't know how they built the goddamn pyramids. So they were obviously advanced in ways that we don't understand. What more technology were they capable of, and what did they use, and how did they do all this shit in ways that we don't understand? Like I said, there's even that one build. I'm going to get a little off topic, but not really. I'm coming right back. There's the buildings where they've cut these giant palaces out of one piece of stone. But they're talking about they did it with pounding stones and chisels. That's ridiculous. So there was obviously something that they were capable of that we can't do.
I understand what you're saying, but a few sentences ago, you started talking about steam powered and electrically powered. So
I'm just saying. I'm saying whatever. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming. And with the knowledge that we have, those are the only things that I can come up with. But it's probably somewhere completely outside of what we know.
Sure.
I'm just going by the things that I could possibly think that could do these things.
Yeah. I feel like the evidence should guide the thinking. I don't think anything is impossible. I just don't, could there be technology that we don't understand and what they did in a way? Because, yes, I actually think those people were extremely intelligent in their own way and did things differently. Because back then, if you throw a lot of people doing things, and it's not like they had much time to do anything else. I mean, they spent all day. There's a lot of point in times in history where people spent their whole lives being good at things that we don't do today, like Renaissance art. But I'm going off subject here. That
we got to wrap this. We've been going on for a bit.
I do believe. Well, I would say there's a strong probability of certain technology not existing because I believe the techno footprint would be much larger. I just think
possible, but what if it's buried? Just saying.
It would have to be
That's a very likely possibility.
Then it would have to be something from millions of years ago because I feel like if it was in the last 10 or 12,000 years and we had technology where we could like solar power giant drills to go 600 meters into the ground, I feel like the techno footprint would be big enough that we would have found it.
I agree. But yeah, but regardless of what it is, they did it. We don't know how. So we can sit here and say, oh, there would be a technological footprint, but that could be horseshit too. Who knows? Like, who knows what they did? I don't know.
No, that part is true.
So, yeah, but is it fact or fugazi, guys? What do you think? Fact? Do you believe in all this? Fugazi, it's all BS, or are you waiting for more? Let us know.
My brain hurts!